The followers era is over. In the past, the goal on social media was almost always to try to get as many followers or subscribers as possible so that they would see your future updates. However, most of those social media platforms have since switched over to a model where their algorithm determines what you see and who you see content from, almost regardless of who you follow or subscribe to. Sometimes they'll sprinkle in some content from people you follow if they deem it worthy, but much of the time when you log in, your feed is full of stuff that you don't quite know how it got there. Just to see how it performs and see if there are pieces of it that take off. And if they do, then they can put that in front of other people. So a lot of what they're doing when they put stuff in front of you is to measure your response to it. See if you engage with it, see if you spend time on it. And if you do, then the algorithm picks it up and gives it to lots of other people. The goal, as always, is to make the platform as addictive as possible, which is terrible for us as consumers, but is exactly what social media platforms want to do because that increases their ad revenue. What this means, though, is that you can no longer rely on the fact that if you post something, your followers will see it. Now, when you post something, you have to hope that the algorithm likes it enough to show it to the people who actually follow you. And if the algorithm doesn't like it, it just dies. This is so widely known on TikTok that there's actually a name for it, the 200 views jail. When you post something new on TikTok, they generally put it out in front of roughly a couple hundred people to see how it performs. And very often, if you don't have a particularly viral piece of content, it'll get about 200 views and then just die. Your views will plummet. You could have thousands of people following you, but if TikTok doesn't deem it worthy, they're never going to see it. This is why on social media, you often don't see content from people that you follow unless you happen to engage with them a fair bit, which gives the platform the clues that you will respond to that content in particular. But if you just want to follow someone and casually see the stuff they're posting, it's going to start to die out and you won't see it because you're not engaging with it enough. And as users, we all hate this and we're annoyed by it, but they've done the math. They know that if they put a bunch of viral stuff in front of you, you're going to go down that rabbit hole and sit and scroll and scroll and scroll and click and click and click. And that's more engagement than you would show by just seeing the people that you actually follow. From a marketing perspective, that means you can't just build a following and have a following anymore. Those days are over. These days, you almost have to approach it like you're starting over with each piece of content. You have to treat it like it's the first piece of content you've ever posted, and it's going to get out in front of a bunch of people that you're hoping to attract their attention and get them to stick around. Not because they'll follow you, because it almost doesn't matter if they do or not, but because they'll engage with you. And that's the clue that these platforms need to show more of your content to them in the future. That's a really tough reality for business owners to deal with, but that's the era we're in. The followers era is over and we are very much in the algorithm era. So if you want to be seen, you kind of have to play that game.